Hey guys, welcome back to Inventory Watch. It is December 24th, and I thought I would do a quick and dirty year in review of 2023. There's 1 week left in the year, so let's get into it. Let's see. Okay, so we've got, let me make my head a little bit smaller too. All right, so I took the last couple of weeks off because I needed a break, but ready to get back into it and see how the end of the year turned out. So we always start with brand new listings, fresh inventory coming to the market. And as you can see, we kind of peaked out here in October with for Q4 with the listings. And ever since October, new listings have been kind of waning down, which is normal for the end of the year. And I suspect that we'll see some inventory coming in January. So where we ended December, as far as fresh inventory goes, is that in 2023 here, we had 4,429 brand new listings to the market. Last December, we had 4,883. So we did beat the number of listings in 2023 as far as year over year. We have 6% more inventory this year in December than we did last year. So we're projecting pretty good. So that means for January, this is the number to beat here to see if we can get over 8,000 listings in January 2024. Hopefully that'll put us on the right trend to have some more inventory for buyers and to give some of the buyers some relief. We had 7,932 at the beginning of this year. So that is the number to beat. Let's go into pendings. Or actually total active inventory. Total active inventory. So that was fresh listings. That's how many new listings we have on the market, was about 4,000 this month. Looking at total active inventory, we have been seeing a decrease in inventory for the past, probably since like the middle of November or last month anyway. Inventory has kind of been waning back down. And so we lost another 1% of inventory this month, which is great for sellers. Kind of stinks for buyers going into buyer season, but that's where we're at. We are also seeing the average list price fall again. A couple weeks ago, the average list price was $629. And for the fresh listings that just came onto the market, the average list price was $612. So we are seeing the average list price come down a little bit, and prices, are softening. But that's normal for the end of the year. And when we look at the sold data, you'll understand why. So let's look at the pending and contingents. So the pendings and contingents are how many active buyers are running around the market right now. So as you can see, ever since the end of October here, we've been pretty stable as far as how many buyers are running around in the market. So we kind of average about 2,600 buyers per week. And right now, we have total pendings at 5,622. And this pending ratio, this pending percentage that I keep track of, tells us how many or what is the temperature kind of the market. The more that we get closer to 40 and 50, the more that we are going to be in a seller's market. And the more that we're kind of under 50, the more that we're in a buyer's kind of favor, right? Where it's starting to soften. And I think, the closer that we get to 35 is really a solid buyer's market. Every week we go from like 37 to 38, back to 37, back to 38. This week, we're at 37. Last week we were at 38. So we're just kind of floating around here, which is interesting because we had all those really big interest rate cuts. And, so I thought for sure, like maybe we'd see this kind of tick closer to 40 with interest rate cuts, but the buyers just don't seem to be having it right now, whether it's the holidays or some other reason. We're just still floating around between 37 and 38. And so that's kind of on the softer side of pricing. The average under contract price right now is $597,000, which is way down from what it was in the middle of the year when we started Inventory Watch. Like the average contract price was like 680, sometimes 700,000. And it's come down dramatically, about a full $100,000, like since the middle of the year. So prices are definitely down from the middle of the year. If we look at the number of sold homes, how we've been trending out over the past like weekly for Q4, it's, kind of been a roller coaster, but the main trend is sold homes is on a downward trend going into the end of the year. And that's completely normal. Again, we did not close so far. Of course, we have one more week left in December to see if we'll have a bulk of closings. I kind of think that we might beat this 30. This number will change too. I think we might beat December projections from last year because I think we'll have another bulk of closings because we have one more week left. And so I'm interested in seeing like what we're actually going to close out December. But right now we're fairly on track with where we were. The sold prices for the last 30 days averaged out to 561,000. So if you go back to that last slide where pendings was 597, we're actually closing about 30K less than what we're putting things under contract for. So gone are the days where like you're getting over asking and 20 offers like over asking price. It seems like now it's like whatever your asking price is, you're probably going to get a little bit less. So understand that if you're looking to sell your house, that's where we are right now. But that may not be where we're going in the future after you see the next slide. But let's talk about interest rates for a minute. Comparatively, actually, with the recent rate cuts that we just had, interest rates are actually slightly lower than where we were last December of 2022. So we were trending up. Like last December, interest rates were heading up into the 7s, and now we're actually out of the 7s and the 8, and we're trending back down. So interest rates are actually lower going into 2024, which is great for home buyers. And then let's look at sold inventory or not sold inventory. That should say sold pricing. So what I did was I wanted to take a look and see because I know prices have been coming down, but it's so interesting because we actually started January 2020. The average sold price was only 516,000. And we had a major kind of run. We always have buyer season. Usually starts, it's like between February and May, and the pricing peaks out June and July. So what you're looking at here is that we had a real soft December last year where prices and inventory was rising and prices were coming down. And we entered 2023 with about 21,000 homes on the market. And we're entering 2024 with only 15,000 homes on the market. So inventory is even lower this year going in. However, demand is also a lot less because interest rates have been really high. But what happened was we only had 21,000 homes on the market, and the amount of buyers that we did have actually caused a frenzy in the spring. And so prices went up dramatically between January and June. And I think that we may see that again because we're going into 2024 with only 15,000 homes on the market. And interest rates are slightly lower than they were last year. And so if we have any kind of buyer frenzy happening in 2024, we may see the same thing happening. We are ending the year at 561. Now, prices are a lot higher in December of this year than they were January of last year. So I don't know how much of that frenzy we're actually going to see. I think it's just really going to depend on the interest rates and the buyer sentiment going into the spring. So it's going to be interesting to watch this spring buyer season to see if we're going to see the same frenzy between January and June that we saw last year. It may just be really, really flat and we may not see a lot of movement at all, which is kind of what I think, but you never know with what direction interest rates are going to go. So definitely something to keep an eye on going into the spring. So let's see. So we saw the average list price at the beginning of 2023 was $535. The average list price in December was $576. And the sale price, we just talked about that. The average sold price in January was $516, and the average sold price was 561 this year or this December. So that's an 8% increase year over year in pricing, which is still crazy with the amount, like how high interest rates were. So we did see pricing go up on average. Now, not all communities probably saw that, but it's pretty significant. I don't know why I'm going backwards. So let's talk about rentals. The rental market is still very interesting. We saw less new listings coming to the market in December, kind of opposite of what we saw. We saw 11% decrease in new listings coming to the market for rentals. And our active listings are at 7,114, which means that right now we're seeing about 565 buyers running around the market, putting rentals under contract and putting in their applications to rent. And same thing for the sold rental closings is that we saw January rents start about $2,300 a month, which peaked out the June and July at $2,412. And then we're starting to see rents come down. So the difference between the buyer market and the rental market is that we're actually ending the year less than where we started. So rents are definitely on the decline, and it's a very strong trend that will probably continue going into 2024, which again may have an effect on the buyer's market, because if rents are going to be way cheaper than what it is to purchase, the people who are thinking about buying are just going to go find a rental because it's more affordable right now. So affordability is still going to play a role. So, and it's just all going to be contingent on how low interest rates are going to go, if it's going to compete with the rental market and things like that. So I want to keep this short and sweet. So that's all I got for you guys today going into 2024. Have a great Christmas. And I'm not sure if I'm going to do one next week. Probably will, but just keep an eye out for the notifications. Have a great holiday.